conversation anyway.
Welcome back to Propology 101. And today, I want to talk about something. It's not going to be exactly what we normally do. We're not going to pull a prop out and tear it down. We're going to actually talk about something that is used as a prop for sets. And it's a really cool technology that's no longer around. And that is slides, slide projectors, and slide viewers. Now, a lot of you probably don't know what a slide is, but basically a slide is you can take photographs using real live film, and they could take those photos and turn them into, for example, for this, a 2-inch by 2-inch slide. And this is a slide viewer. This is what you would use to preview or look at a slide. Just if you want to look at them, you could look at them, or you could look at them and say you're putting together a presentation to put in a slide projector that'll project it up on the wall, and you'll talk about whatever you've projected up on the wall. Today, we use projectors hooked to a laptop to do this type of stuff, but this was how it was done before what we use today, being a laptop and a projector. So how does this work on Star Wars? If you remember in A New Hope, the shootout scene in the detention cell, right above the commander on the cell block, there are 3 or 4 banks of 6 of these hanging above him. There'll be 3, 3, and then 3, 3. Now they're all done up. They got lights on them. They got greeblies on the side of them. They got greeblies coming out of the front in between them. But I had read when I was doing some research for a project, that's why I have this. I created a cell block for a Comic-Con one year, and I made, using this one, I just took castings of this and made my own bank of these. But I read during my research, and I haven't found this source again. I got to figure out what the source was, but the original plan was to have pictures of actors in the actual cells, and then they would make slides and have them. So basically what these were originally meant to be is little TV monitors showing you what your prisoners were doing in their cells. It was a way to monitor the cells. If they did do it, it didn't pick up on camera, so they didn't play it off that way. They ended up shooting them and blowing them up. These all pretty much operate on batteries. You put batteries in. This one also has a focus. This little lens here will focus and bring them into sharper focus. But there's a shot after they blew them up where Han and Luke are in that little command area, and just hanging just barely in frame is one of these just like this that had been blown up. This was what was left of part of one, and it was just hanging just right above frame. Now, the photographs they were going to project through or have illuminated in these didn't show up. It probably the camera didn't catch it or wasn't able to catch it anyway, so they just scrapped the whole idea. But there is another scene in the movie where not this particular brand and style, but a different, actually 2 different slide viewers were used, and that was in the escape from the Death Star when the TIE fighters attack the Millennium Falcon. And when Han and Luke go into their turrets, you will see just right in front of them, Han does a little adjustment on one, are 2 stacked on top of each other slide viewers. They were both Photax. One is a Photax Stellar and the other is a Photax Solar number 3. They're sitting right on top of each other. And remember how I was talking, they were going to have the prisoners in the screens? Well, one of those screens is lit up with a graphic slide inside of it, basically showing the targeting for the gun. Now they do animations, and the animations is basically a still photo of the front of the viewer, and they animate within the screen area, the outline of the TIE fighter being formed. That was close in animation on these, but when they're getting the over shoulder shots, you can also see that the screen is illuminated and it's glowing that red back at them. And you never get a good enough shot to see if they actually put a grid or anything in there. Odds are they probably did put a grid in there, but it's just the red glow or the orange glow is really what you see. Now, this idea or technique wasn't invented or created for Star Wars. It's actually a trick that was being used for a very long time on British television and movie making in England, especially a lot of sci-fi stuff. A lot of British television and especially sci-fi like Doctor Who and stuff like that, they always operated on shoestring budgets, and a cheap viewer with a slide in it, or even a hand-drawn graphic on a slide and put in there and illuminate it, would give them a whole lot more bang for their buck on their sets and everything. Gives it a little more depth and a little more realism, and they use this type of stuff a lot. And there are all kinds of different versions of these. They look a little bit different. Some of them have little stands that look up at you. Some of them have like big knobs on the side so you can adjust them. Some of them are like, they look like a wall mount, like it could almost be like a wall mount display that you would walk up, maybe talk to someone or whatever. So these different slide viewers were used tons in sci-fi, but they were also used in Star Wars, and I believe they had some of these inside the cockpit of the X-Wing, and maybe even also the Y-Wing. I am pretty sure I saw it in the X-Wing, and I can't find photos. If I can find photos by the time I'm done editing this, I'll throw them in there. But I've been looking, and it's really hard to find production photos of the cockpit, but I have seen them. You just have to know where to find them, and I can't remember where to find them. But anyway, thank you for joining along. I thought this was just a really cool thing that most people never heard of or even seen or noticed, but it was a cheap, quick, and easy. And you know, if someone's building something like doing their own little home movie or something like that, these things are dirt cheap. You can pick up slide viewers on eBay for less than 20 bucks all day long, and you can make your own slides, make your own graphics, and put them in there. You can make your own little computer displays on your dashboards or on your wall or whatever, and it's super retro also. Thank you for joining us. Join us next time when we pull out another prop, tear it down, and see what it's made of.